Hi Vidisha. So, are you enjoying your time at official? You
Yes,
are. I'd like to introduce you to everyone to Vidisha Fadescha, who is. How do you pronounce your last name?
Fadescha, Fadescha.
Fadescha. Fadescha. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What does it mean? Where did
Uh,
it come from? Is everyone in your family called Fadescha?
no,
Fadescha.
it's just I was tired of what people
Really?
think of my last name.
Yeah. You invented your last name. Did
I
you?
invented my last name. Yeah,
So, is it
I
very?
fell upon my last name.
But is it very common where you come from? Do people make up their own last names? Is it like a thing?
Yes, yes, yes.
So it has a history. Would you like to share the story? Where did it? Who does
Uh,
it? I've never heard of people who just make up the last name. So, like, you can tell us a story.
I think we get tired. I also actually had a friend once who was called Barbie.
Who was called?
She called herself Barbie.
Oh, great.
Um, I think because she liked it, but uh, I think we're just bored of like the real name. For me, I was not bored. For me, I just wanted that other name.
What's the story behind your other name?
It's very, I mean, I kind of fell upon it. It is from a newspaper in Dubai who had published my name. So all the other proper nouns in that article were correct, but my name was Fadesha. So I became Fadesha. I said I'll become what you want me to become. They didn't want
Okay.
me to become it, but I became.
So today you are offering swimming lessons.
Yeah.
So how will you? Okay. So how are you teaching me swimming? So I'm Prayas Abhinav. You're hearing my voice, and I work for Sufficient. And Vidisha is spending this month at Sufficient. So she's offering me swimming lessons, and let's do this. Okay.
So I actually was informed during my residency here that Prayas is really struggling with his swimming lessons because he just started with his swimming. And the other day he asked me that he needed a new instructor. So I said, sure, I'll tell him. Uh, but I mean, the only thing that Prayas said that he was allowed to ask me as many questions that he wants because his current swimming instructor is very tired of answering Prayas's questions. So Prayas just recently started to learn how to kick. How's that been going, Prayas?
I figured out how to keep today and keep myself afloat. So I learned how to float last week, and this week I've learned how to keep my head above the water and stay afloat. All three at the same time.
Keep your head above the water.
Yeah, and kick and stay afloat.
Okay. Uh, yeah, I mean, those are like the first lessons. Did they also
Yeah,
teach you how to breathe?
underwater.
No, normal. I
No,
mean,
in water above the head. No, no, they didn't teach us how to breathe. It's I'm a really slow learner, so I'm hoping that your class will really open up new horizons for me. And you know,
so
I
I
haven't
think
really.
there are actually many different kinds of swimming strokes. I don't remember the dolphin one, but there are there is front stroke, the freestyle, sorry. It's also called the crawl. So it's like one of the first things that you'd actually learn. So yeah, I mean, so you just I can show it.
The water is here. It's the
In my
15.
area.
Thank you. It's
So,
the
so it's just, yeah. So you just go like that. So
yeah,
your hand just go like that.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, you can try. Then there is a backstroke.
Hmm.
Um, so these are like common strokes that people do. There's also like a butterfly stroke. I'm
Hmm.
not sure if you'll be able to do it.
What did
Um,
you learn first?
freestyle.
You learned the freestyle. You didn't learn the crawl first.
No, it's the same. It's the same stroke. But yeah, it's the crawl. The crawl is the freestyle. Freestyling and crawling is the same thing.
I'm still very far from that. I can just stay afloat, and I'm not very far. I haven't really learned much of swimming.
So what do you
Uh,
look at when you're floating?
what do I look like?
Look at.
Look at. I keep my eyes closed.
Why? You're scared water will get inside your eyes.
Yeah, yeah. I feel very. I'm almost in a. Yeah, I'm in a panic mode. I'm just like, hold your breath. So I'm not relaxed.
No, so Prayas, try breathing, okay? Try breathing. Do you have sunglasses? Do you have those swimming glasses?
No, I should get them.
Yeah. So that you're
Okay,
not scared that it goes inside your eyes.
right.
And when you'll go inside the water, it's
Yeah,
going to it's going to help you see. So if you wear those swimming glasses, it's going to help you see inside the water.
right.
You will not feel so scared.
Okay, so I'll get them tomorrow.
And you wear a swimming cap.
No,
Why? Because you're a boy.
no. I just haven't been asked to get one.
Because you're a boy.
Yeah,
So you go in like the family time. When do you go to swimming?
in the men's time,
In the
in the time for men.
in the men's time. So nobody wears swimming cap.
A lot of people do, but it's like hardcore. I think it's hardcore. It's just like I don't know what a cap is for. So as long if I don't know it, then I don't feel like buying it.
So it's basically to help you protect you from chlorine, which is in the pool. Also, so that you don't make your hair don't make the pool dirty.
Okay,
So
so
yeah.
I should. Yeah, it's
But usually, what I've seen at like swimming pools in India is that men don't have to wear it and women have to. I actually learned how to swim in a palace.
in a palace.
Yeah.
Which palace?
In Jodhpur. It's in Rajasthan. So it's
You knew the prince.
sorry,
Did you know the prince?
the king.
Hmm?
The king.
Oh, you knew the king. Wow. So how did you get to know the king?
I was born to know the king. No, I don't know. I was when I was
So,
very
uh,
don't have to.
so you were just flapping around in the king's swimming pool and you learned how to swim.
Yeah, yeah. Some special kids could go and learn how to swim there. It was
So
also
you didn't have a teacher.
no, I had a teacher.
Okay.
Me and all the other friends who knew the king could go there.
How many of you were there? We are like 60 of us. It's a pigsty. The whole swimming pool is full of people. Someone's hitting you all the time. How many of you were there?
I don't remember. I mean, of the last thing, that last swimming pool which I like remember going to, a community swimming pool, was at YMCA in Los Angeles, and because it was in Koreatown, so it was a lot of Korean people. Uh, yeah, we used to also have a fancy sauna right next to it. But I didn't. I mean, there is basically like lane rules. I think I have a drawing of lane rules.
Off?
Lanes rules.
What's that?
There are rules in a lane. So sometimes what happens is that if it's a big lane,
Which lane? Swimming lane.
okay, I'll draw
Hmm?
it. I'm gonna draw it. So this is the swimming pool. This is the lanes. Of course, they are not drawn properly. And then so this direction. No, no, no. This is wrong. Don't listen to this. This is wrong. Uh, so this is for these people. This and this is for people going in this direction. So these are the lane rules. You know how sometimes there are like these divider, like dividing balls, which divide
Hmm.
the swimming pool. So in
Hmm.
between there, those are like the lane rules.
Okay.
So when you are, I mean, I know people. I mean, people don't even follow lanes here. They should.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
don't know if people even know that there are lane rules. Um, no, so there's the crawl, which is like the first thing you learn. But I think they're also going to teach you something to just like they just like make you do like this, so that you're just dragging the water. So you basically
Yeah.
just dragging your body in
We're
front.
learning how to do that, but they're just teaching us that like a hand movement, just like a hand movement exercise. So they tell us not to let our body move at all.
So how do you? So do you not move forward? What do you do?
Yeah, we're just practicing how to move our hands.
So what do? You just tuck your
We just
legs along.
no, we just keep our shoulders below water and push the water down with our hands.
Ah, like that.
Yeah, so just
Yeah.
practicing the hand movements.
You
And
know, babies can actually, when they are little,
they
like
can swim.
up to 6 months,
Hmm.
yeah, they can swim and they can actually hold their breath for a really long time underwater.
Wow.
So it's really good for them. Like, I mean, that's why a lot of babies do swimming as an exercise. I don't know,
But
I
do,
see.
when they grow up, do they remember?
No, I think it depends on how early you start to learn.
But then there's some people who never need to learn swimming.
Maybe.
That's cheating.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think people need to learn how to swim. Because I
Right.
think eventually we just start to fight, like, because we try to control our body, right?
Right. So
Uh,
when babies become children, they forget how to swim.
Sorry?
When babies become children, they forget how to swim.
Yeah. No. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm talking about like the holding water, the breath. Because the womb is like water. So you can hold your
Yeah.
breath for that long. So up till 6 months, you can hold your breath for really long. So if you tried learning then, you could do better.
Yeah.
No, so there's the crawl. There's so after this like dragging thing, I think this is the first thing they're going to tell you. Is also like teaching you how to push your legs, and then basically going forward. Do you also use those floaty things?
No. I wish that I had them that I could stay floating without holding my breath, but they didn't give me
They didn't
the
give you
float.
what?
The floats for the hand.
Oh, those hand ones are bad.
Acha.
Then you'll never go inside the water.
Okay.
But
So the tire one, the ring one is good.
I mean, because you can just use it as a board,
Huh.
like a paddle board. So then you can just do your leg exercise and you can go forward. That's also something that they teach you in your swimming
Acha,
lessons.
acha. Oh, great. So, I wrote something about swimming today.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read it out?
Yeah.
It's 500 words.
Okay.
If you get lost, because if it's too unedited, I just wrote it today. If it doesn't make sense, ask me to shut up.
Okay.
So the text is called masking.
Hmm.
Curses are masks. Masks hide something and reveal something else. This temporary management of appearances helps in balancing at least two urgent needs.
To unedited. I just wrote it today. If it doesn't make sense, ask.
Do it again. I can hear.
Curses are masks. Masks hide something and reveal something else. This temporary management of appearances helps in balancing at least two urgent needs. One is the need to nullify the opposition. Once the opposition is nullified, some progress can be made, and the situation, which seems like a crisis, can even be remedied. Two is the need to proceed as planned. In spite of the discussions, a larger project has been underway. This project demands the timely dedication of resources and the equally timely delivery of material. When any particular pillar of the project becomes unstable, a dispute arises. Masks help in executing complex discussions under the front of abstraction. It might seem to someone not familiar to the pragmatics of discussion in the room that the topic under discussion is coffee, but in reality, a complex battle formation involving a massive cost and thousands of lives is the current engagement. Abstraction helps to desensitize discussions. It helps to divert the overbearing sentiment towards rational argumentation and away from sentimental brooding. That leaves us in a difficult position. We do not know what to do with our emotion anymore. Emotion is a problem because we have not been trained to deal with it. We have been trained to understand emotion as a deterrent to rational thought. On the contrary, it is a lens that aids the complex perception of ideas that otherwise would never be perceived at all. The absence of emotion from our cognitive apparatus has led us to a difficult point in our evolution. We produce anger, irritation, fear, confusion, and other artifacts of a troubled mind because we are basically starved of emotion. Nothing touches us because we are stuck on a dry piece of land and we do not know how to swim. We need swimming lessons. After our swimming lessons, we'll be able to float, but float while precariously holding on to the edge of the pool. Courage to let go and allow our body to swim will take time, and in this time, we can enjoy the feeling of not being able to navigate the terrain. After we learn how to swim, we will not be able to forget how to swim again. Water will become like land. Water will know its place, and it will not overwhelm our nostrils. When we will need to learn to swim and still drown sometimes as well. That day, we will learn how to wear a mask.
It's over?
Yeah,
Yes?
yeah,
Can I tell you a joke right now?
yeah.
Uh, there's also actually something called the side stroke.
Huh,
It's not a very, not everybody knows how to do it.
huh.
Um I mean, I've shown it to you previously.
How do you do it?
The side stroke.
Yeah.
You just do it with one hand and one leg.
How?
You get on your side,
Yeah.
and again, like the way you learn how to drag and crawl your body, you push one hand, and then you take the um, so the right. Let's say you want to do the side stroke from your right side. I mean, it doesn't usually happen on the right side. It's better. It's always on the left side. The last time I tried to do it from the left side, they told me not to do it anymore. But so is it left right now? It's left right.
Yeah.
So left hand and left leg, and you just keep going. And this right side is just relaxed. It's nothing. It does not exist.
So one hand only.
Yeah, your left hand, your left leg.
Wow. I've never seen that.
We tried to do it earlier.
Yeah. I'll look it up on YouTube.
Okay.
So, how does swimming lessons? How do swimming lessons? How are they connected to what you are doing in this month in the residency? How does it make sense to you?
I think a lot of times what happens with residencies is, and I think it's always been a really important part of residencies, is just the idea of, so of course one like decides that this is what I'm going to do, but a lot of my practice kind of has to do with the idea of, with primarily speaking of the process. And so I think it's important for us to like, even what we do on Facebook, to constantly like kind of, and I'm also like not just Facebook, I mean I'm also speaking in the residencies also happening virtually at other places other than Facebook, and a lot of them might also just be private conversations, but at least some parts of those private conversations have to come back out on Facebook, because it's a way, because I'm interested in the idea of I mean, for me, residency uh, have to
Is it
importantly
occupation? Is it like occupying a place?
residency, yes, but not in the sense of, yes, in the sense residency is an occupation. But I mean that what I'm talking about is the process of what one is doing at a residency. That, you know, how does one? I mean, I think process for me is as also really important in any kind of practice. Be it curatorial, be it gardening, be it swimming. I mean, it's important to know before you actually get there, because I think again it has to do with this idea of like, if you get there, then you don't have to do anything anymore. You know? So I'd rather not get there, or at least like value of not being able to get there, or even if I get there, I still value how I was getting there. So I actually, even when it comes to swimming, I don't know how to do a lot of like, so you know, whenever you go to the edge at the pool, there are these turns, and every stroke has a different turn. So I actually don't know all those turns. So, and that's the idea of the edge. So I know what to do in the middle. I don't know what to do on that edge. And yeah, so so I think residency kind of, and I'm always, I think, interested in this kind of this. That's why I said that the lesson only is about the stroke, and I don't know the terms. So I don't know the terms. I just know the stroke, and the stroke is only going to help you get up till the edge, and at the edge, then you are just like doing what people, I mean, or somebody else will have to teach you that. And yes, residency as an occupation. Um, sure, it works like that. Um, I think also like the way people are engaging with me through Facebook or through emails or through other things. other kind of social media. I mean, I have done this previously at a short run, like just a 1 week long thing, but I haven't done like a 4 week long thing, and I think it's even more intense. And I've actually grown more dark circles now in the last 1 week because the screen is very close to me.
The C,
The screen,
the screen.
yeah.
But you switched off your video.
Yeah.
Okay. So before you changed your name, were you doing stuff still publicly, or was that a
Yeah.
time when nobody knew you?
So I was doing stuff publicly.
So if and what happens to when you change your name? What happens to that whole history of doing things with a different name?
I think that's the struggle. I think because now a lot of times when you're doing the Google search, in some sense it has erased a lot of my history. Because now you are like, but then of course at some point you find out that this person also worked like that. So even like right now, I think a lot of times one is exchanging those names. Um, I think, I mean, the Fadescha came in because of trying to censor a lot of things. I mean, censor in the sense that, uh, I mean, I think, so I was actually about to post this one image. It was that my history is not, uh, clear. But yeah, so um, I forgot what I was saying.
You
So, so I mean, even right now, I kind of do mix stuff. It's sort of important to kind of erase the history that the initial name had with it.
But why would you want to do that? Why are you interested in erasing history? People actually take a lot of pain in claiming
Because
history.
a lot of it, because no, because yeah, of course, that's the thing. I mean, everybody I kind of see are basically just like capitalizing on it in some sense. But I'm not interested in it. I'm not in, because it's a history that I didn't actually do anything. No, it's a history of some kind of social violence in a sense that the last name was. So I'm not interested in having that history. I'm not interested also actually that because in terms of whatever I want to do, I don't want to apologize to anything. And I don't actually want somebody to find someone else who needs to apologize for it. So yeah, so nobody should be apologizing. I'm not going to apologize anyway. And so yeah, so then nobody can say, where are you from? I'm not from I am here.
No, but you're talking about erasing a segment of history that, let's say, you're not that you don't want in your as a part of your narrative anymore, right?
Uh,
Are you saying that?
Actually, not all of it. I mean, but I think it's totally okay for. I mean, of course, people are able to find my previous work as well. So it's totally fine. It's totally
But
fine.
so are you saying that you like being porous? You like to be uh, whoever you choose at a given time, and you don't care about being the same person all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you saying
Yeah,
that?
that's yeah. But that's the truth, even about like the way I looked at myself before my name, before I changed the name.
So, what is that condition? What should you call that condition? And do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I mean, again, like
This condition of being okay and being comfortable with the kind of porosity.
Because I think the thing is that I understand that um, I think no one can know enough. I think I can't know enough. Even if I claim that I know enough, I still don't. Like, how much do you even know? So I'm not claiming any sort of like that. Oh, I have this knowledge. No, I mean I have some knowledge, but I'm not saying it might be the truth. Because firstly, like that's the rule. Like nothing is true. That's the rule. There is no truth. And and we all live in a myth. So if we all live in a myth, we can't like keep holding on to something because living in a myth is such a great space. It means that you can just play with it. So you play with it. I mean, what's the harm? I mean, I'm not scared. Uh, scared of.
But you're talking about playing with your own mythology, right? You're playing with the
Or
whole.
any. I think. Uh, I mean, how do you hold something responsible? Because we have also, I mean, we as education, in terms of learning, we come to a point when an act happens and a physical body of somebody is present within that act, we have come to a point in terms of knowledge where we don't believe, even like blame the physical body if it's present. We have found ways to basically uh, save that physical body, saying that you are not the criminal. What is the criminal is the precarity around you which has produced you. So now if you've come to that point where you can't blame the physical body, which means that that physical body then can do whatever. So in terms of knowing knowledge, if we come to that place, then we just have to be okay with other things too. I mean, we become all of those things. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you were saying that porosity is inevitable.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so are you saying that porosity is kind of inevitable?
I can't hear you, Prayas.
Yeah. Just a second. No, are you saying that porosity is kind of inevitable? That there is no other choice but for all of us to be porous because there are so many things happening and
I
we
think,
have to accept them.
yeah, I think people shouldn't take themselves seriously. The moment you stop doing, like, you moment you start to take yourself seriously, is when you lose that porosity, and you actually, as a body, can't exist without that porosity. You know, because I know so many people who, like, at the age of 25 they would say this is what I'm going to be and that's what my life is, and I made these couple of decisions and blah blah blah. How do you make that decision at 25? What are you going to do? Are you going to do that thing for 50 years? That's really stupid. I mean, you actually just made your own choices, I think, for like 7 8 years until you decide that this is what I am and this is what I want to do, because what you
Yeah,
are,
I think, yeah, I feel very uncomfortable with how people spend their 20s also.
as in.
As in, I don't feel comfortable with people who, they try to decide about, I mean, through what they
Prayas,
want to
can't hear
say.
you.
Okay. Okay. No, I mean, they decide too soon about what they want to do, like you're saying, all their lives, and they study something, and because of that, they feel locked into a certain identity, and they live with that, and they feel trapped in that.
Yeah, but it's like the modernism hangover, which is, I mean, only if people, it's like that. It's like why you know, because if one, again, now if one is talking about knowledge, like knowledge or whatever, And I'm sorry I like have such a language. It's like inside my head. That if one actually did understand post-coloniality, now I'm going to use this word because it kind of is attached to a lot of, because that in-between space, that space of flux, that identity which does not belong to multiple spaces, that identity is that's what post-coloniality means. It does not belong. So I'm just what I'm saying is that I'm just bringing this in because people don't understand post-coloniality so well, like what that identity is. It is an identity which is in flux. It can't be the binary. And I mean, a lot of these things are like things that I also say about gender, things I say about other things, and everybody in something. And it's actually, and that kind of, the idea of the strokes and knowing the strokes, because you are not getting to the edge. And now, of course, it's not even about the idea of the periphery or anything. It's just about knowing those strokes or learning those strokes and getting to the edge, but coming back to, because what you know is only the stroke. Because it's also this, I mean, the idea of this in between space is also a space for really like, it's the space for protest. It's the space for where new things can come up. So unless you are in that space, unless you don't answer those questions for yourself, unless you don't like kind of sit onto something and just do that something, unless you're sitting onto porosity, which is like my case, where everybody's just like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, yeah, so I'm doing all of these things, and so I think that's the idea of the strokes also, like we should know the stroke, we should know that space. So yeah.
No, but not everyone is fragmented enough, right? So you might not
Because you wanting to decide.
decide what. Uh, s- yeah, I think if you switch your video off, you'll have better bandwidth.
Okay.
No, decide what.
I don't know all of these things. I want to be vegetarian. I don't know. I'm not going to eat
But if
eggs
you
anymore.
don't decide, then it will just be a, I mean, what is your personality but a set of decisions? If you don't decide anything, you won't have a personality.
Why
Is
not?
that true? I
Why?
mean,
That
would you?
doesn't make sense. I mean, sure, don't have eggs for a month. Don't eat certain things for a month. I mean, what are you doing? I mean, you can do it for 3 years. Don't do it for 3 years. Great. I'm totally okay with that kind of time limits. And I mean, what do you mean? What does a personality mean? Like I'm saying that so many times, what the idea of the subject. Sometimes the subject is not even a body. The subject is the body's history, and the body. So if you even do something, it's not even credited to you. It's credited to your history. So what are you becoming the personality of? What you're becoming personality of your history then? And a lot of times you yourself don't even have a hand in that personality of history. So if you want to buy that history, stay with that history.
But is it really our decision to make what we would like our history? I mean, do you really construct your history, or consciously, or is history something that becomes your narrative? It's an emergent narrative. It's not the scripted narrative.
You can't control your history. It's like what we don't have control on anything. I mean, even if
Yeah. So when you change your
come on,
name, so then when you change your name to erase a certain history, does it get erased?
I don't erase it. You can find it. I mean, you can find it. I'm just saying that at places, it's because the thing is, it's making a history of its own. Uh, and so, I mean, this is probably the first time when I've actually not answered directly where that name comes from. Though a lot of times I have answered where that name comes from. But that's also a kind of history. So maybe one doesn't want to talk about that history. And Fadescha actually has started to stand has over time in my practice, whenever I speak about it, has meant different things. Sometimes it meant this girl who was 12-year old. This sometimes it meant this some other person who was down on the streets doing something. So Fadescha has also meant different things. So Fadescha has not stayed constant. It's just the name maybe which has stayed constant, but it's building its own history. It does not. It of course again I think the history also which comes with the last name is also the borrowed history of the origin, and which Fadescha also has it. But that's why in this particular video I've actually not said where the what the origin is.
Right. So if the origin story and the where it comes from, all the stories, if all the stories keep changing, then uh, then how do you? I mean, you were talking a while back about the mythology and about playing with it.
Mm.
So if the mythology that is script keeps changing,
Mm.
then which one gets registered?
I think that depends on the present. Like, so, if you go on a walk, if you go on a walk and you go on a walk for half an hour and you come back, you tell the person what you saw on your walk. You remember certain things. Now, if I ask you after 1 month, you remember certain things. And then you'll might remember something else, and maybe you also have a different language for why you saw a certain thing, because what you know has changed. So the same walk has all those things. So it's totally okay if the history of origin and this entire methodology or the process, when it's articulated, I think that's why language and actually myth. What is myth? Myth is actually just text, and and of course it performs. It's a text which performs. So. That's it. So myth then, or the story then, or the history then, is very located in the present. It's not located anywhere else.
Right. So you're saying it works even if it's loose. It doesn't need to be tight or controlled, or it doesn't even need to remain the same.
Yeah, because it's because it's depending on the present and my imagination of you, and my imagination of how you see me. So I think all those things that what that fragment or the incomplete narrative or the complete narrative is about. Hello?
Right. No, yeah, I was just swinging that through my head. It makes a lot of sense what you are saying about your imagination of my imagination of you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the bridge that strangers are able to make. So someone I've never met before,
Mm.
if when we meet, we can just try build this bridge on the basis of a shared imagination of each other, right? In the sense that you can just like how you imagine that I imagine that you are,
Yeah.
and you can just like that even if that's not true.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it always happens. I think that's one of the big issues of what we actually become. And that's why I'm saying, like, even because, and that's why I'm also saying that we are not controlling anything. So we firstly need to know that we are not controlling anything. Our personality is not made by us.
Hmm.
And uh, so of course there are different reasons what we become, but this idea of this imagination is also very very important, because what happens is that sometimes I'll also try to, sometimes it depends, if I'm trying to impress you and I think that you think highly of me, then or a certain, and highly means something to you, but I imagine what highly means to you. So I am going to become this imagined person that you think me to be. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
will become the imaginary Vidisha, which it is for you. But for you,
Yeah.
it's imaginary. So I will try to perform. But here the thing is that it's like many meta levels of imagination, because it's it's not me. What you imagine of me is not me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I imagine, you imagine me to be is not me, and then I perform it. So, and that performing is also just in my head. It's not even true for you. Like when you look at it. But also, I mean, I think it also depends on how much each other, I mean, how much are we paying attention to each other? Like, do we really care? I don't know. I mean, how much do we care? Do we care about ourselves, or do we care about each other?
And this not caring is actually what porosity is about.
Yeah.
You know, so when you don't want to, I mean, it's not that you don't want to control, you when you don't really think that it can be controlled.
Yeah, but I think it also has to do, I think for me, like I said, that I'm not scared. So what I'm not scared of is I'm not scared of you thinking to me to be something else. Because I know what I am. Okay? Or that I know that I am there for myself, whatever happens. So nothing can shake that. Nothing can change that. And so I don't have to be scared, because it does not matter to me what you imagine of me.
Yeah, but that's being very strong. I mean, in the whole inviting weakness sessions, we were talking about this. I mean, it feels good to think that it doesn't matter. But of course it matters a little bit. And some and
But
but how much is
everything
the
depends on the time.
no, but how much that little bit is a matter of degrees. Sometimes you're going to be less vulnerable, sometimes you're going to be more.
Yeah, but the thing is that time changes things. The thing is,
So
so time changes things, and so even if at some point you must have, I mean, I think that's what something happened in Inviting Weakness, was this idea of like scared of failing. But why
hmm,
are we scared of failing? Because maybe we're not failing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And and it's how long is it going to take you to heal from something like that? It's not going to take you long. You just have to know that it's not going to take you long. So people heal, people fail, people
Yeah,
heal.
but what are you afraid of? You're afraid of uh, not being able to heal. You're
I
afraid.
in the Inviting Weakness session.
No. I mean, what is
Just
anyone ever afraid of? People are only ever afraid of being hurt so fundamentally that they will not be able to heal.
Yeah,
That
but
you,
then one has to act upon it. You know, like one of the rules, like another thing. I think another thing. I'm not sure if we have time for this. But one of the so now, I mean, going back to Inviting Weakness, it's a very the idea. It's like a level of at the level of emotion. But I said that the emotion is just bodily. Emotion is not. Or like now, this is my case. I have like some kind of invisible emotional disability or something, where emotion for me is bodily. Emotion does not mean that I am feeling happy. So I might feel happy, but I might not react in the way happy reacts, you know. And I might so different points where I imagine that I'm in love, but I'm not in love. It's just my body who thinks that I'm in love. So my body is doing something, but I'm just putting few things together and thinking that I'm in love, which is not true. I mean, these are just separate things. So this healing, so depression is one of these other things that people think that, oh, this is over, I'm done, blah blah blah. One of the first things that depression tells you is that you have to help yourself. You have to go walk out of your house, like walk out of your room. You have to do it yourself. It is
You know,
not nothing
but the
to
thing
help.
about the biggest thing about depression is that depression cannot be cured by positive thinking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not asking you to think positively. I know it's not going to happen. I know that. And I also know you'll come back to your room. I'm only asking you to go see the sunshine. Like one can make that effort. Just go see the sun. This is it. I'm not asking you to do anything else. So it's just this simple, the idea of healing. It's it's to know that what you can't do. So I know I can't have happy thoughts. Okay. I uh, But it's not me. I am talking about the depressed
Yeah,
person. I know I can't be happy. I know it's going to take me this long to be happy. I think one of the very important things is for people to actually spend time with themselves and understand their body. So one of the other things I think, which is the idea of the residency, is like, and this idea of occupation of something else. I think 1 month period is an extremely important period for somebody to understand a certain place. Because a lot of times when you like something, it might just actually have to do with your body in that point in time that you like it. You might actually not like it, in the longer time. So for me, that as a traveler also, I like to basically spend like 1 month in one place to actually know what I think about this place. Because your body goes through a lot of things in those months, both like all kinds of genders, bodies go through those things in 1 month. So there are points when you're sad, you're happy, blah, blah, blah. So you have to experience all of that to make a judgment. It does not, like, when people say that places have to do with like friends and family or like landscape and everything, no, it has to do with your body. It's, you have to give a location that time. Um, and you have to, I mean, understand body separate from emotion. So, but body helping the emotion, but body making you react. So that's why this 1 month residency period, or this idea that you have to go and see the
but
sun.
how are you able to talk about the body in this time that we're living in? Let's say, let's say we were able to think about the post digital body, 20 years back, we were able to think
Yeah.
about that, right? So,
I
like
think,
the cyborg, all of this.
yeah,
So, how are you able to think about the body in the pre-cyborg way still?
yeah, yeah. Okay, so I want to say two things. One of the things is that something which has been really hitting me really hard in the last 1 month. Not that, I mean, 1 month, 2 months, but I've been reading these articles about like, oh, the next generation is, this is what's going to happen to the next generation. What are you going to tell your children? What are they going to eat? I mean, those questions have always been present. But our parents did not raise us saying that, oh, you are living in a bad world. Because the moment that happens, something dies. Like something, it's like, oh, there is a certain nostalgia of a life you never lived. So you should never raise people saying that, oh, I lived a better world. No, you just say that this is the best we have. This is what we have right now. This is the best. I mean, it's always been this. Or it's not all. I don't say that. That's not what I'm saying. But you just like don't have this kind of, like, how do you tell your kids, oh, I used to live like where a house with mango trees and like, no, you don't have that. We can't afford that. You can't have those trees. They don't exist in the same manner. So live and answer things in the present. And also, why am I thinking about the body in the no, I think actually body for us, even in the digital space, we you know, I mean, I think it's the even like now actually, if one is looking at the digital spaces now, they have started to get humanized a lot, because I actually have like a couple of focus timeliners on my Mac, where one of them is says, where one is like a focus thing, so I just like put the work I need to complete on that focus thing, and it's just going to keep popping up. So it just pops up every 10 seconds. And if I'm not doing that, it'll just keep irritating me. It's like poking me that no, this is what you need to do. And then I have this other thing which starts to buzz every 45 minutes. Which means that, oh, take your eyes off the screen. So I do take my eyes off the screen for 45 minutes. Oh, for sorry, 1 minute or whatever. So it'll just like make a really loud, piercing sound if you do not move from your screen. And so, I mean, our digital ages have started to address the body, because now over these 30 years, 35 years of having the computers sitting, I mean, and 15 years of everybody having that kind of a lifestyle where we are spending so much time on the computer, it has to get humanized. It has to, it's important for it, even if the digital age needs to exist. You know, why, and I mean, the digital has changed so much. The digital has changed our social so much. Like, what are we loving? What are we eating? What are we like? What are we making? And what are we looking at? How are we looking at ourselves? What's how? So I mean, it's affected us. It doesn't exist on its own. So the digital affects us.
Right, but does it affect us, or does
Human.
it reimagine us entirely?
It's both. I mean, we have always been reimagined. We've been controlled about what we are through media for a really, really long time. Actually, TVs were never supposed to be a part of entertainment. TVs actually existed in supermarkets. And TVs were, and what will happen if you had a TV in your market store, you would come inside the store and somehow purchase. And you would purchase what was on the TV. So TV was primarily only for commodity. It was only part of the material culture. So TV is not entertainment. Film has never been entertainment. And film has always been part of this material culture. So we have always been controlled of what we are, what we become, how we love, what we eat, what we think is right, what we think is wrong, what we fear, and what we don't fear. So so of course, and digital is just another one of those medias which is also doing that. You know. So it's nothing new.
So, by saying that it's nothing new, you think it's more of the same, in the sense it's a parallel or maybe the same of what the world that we live and breathe in is like. Is it a parallel to, I mean, I'm just
I
trying
don't
not to
think
use
it's
the
parallel.
words offline. I'm trying not to use the word in real world.
No, I don't think it's parallel actually. I think it's same thing.
It's the same.
Yeah. So you know, if because if you see, um there was this really cute illustration. So this is the last 1 minute.
Yeah.
There was a really cute illustration which I saw where it says, "Oh, what if so group of people basically used to stand facing each other. Then what photography did is that everybody was facing the camera." You know, and that's the group of people. When there's a group of people, they're facing the camera. Now, if you actually see the group of people, they are all like holding their hands up and taking that selfie or whatever. So everybody's body has become, so we become that, you know, but we have always become that. We have always become our technology. So it's nothing new. So it's not
No,
parallel. It's
yeah,
us.
so that's okay. I mean, we can accept that it's nothing new very
Yeah, but
easily. So, it's not a painful acceptance. But then, even if
it's
it's
10
the same
o'clock.
old,
It's 10 o'clock.
okay, so we'll continue this conversation in the next. Uh,
So can you still go on? Does the recording go off?
No, it won't go off, but we can just behave and try to stick to the time. But just I'll just
I,
complete the sentence of what I
yes.
was saying. So even if it's the same thing, even if it's exactly like living in the world where we sweat and get sick and die, uh, I think even then it's worth thinking about a little bit, because even even if it lets us think about our existence as wise in new way, right? Of how we live online. If that allows, if thinking about that allows us to think about how we live otherwise in a new way, it's worth it. It's good enough.
But that will only happen if you hold on to a nostalgia.
No, no nostalgia. There is just you document your experience when you are online, essentially, and you document your experience when you are doing something else and you're disconnected, whatever, and you just hold these two documentations together. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I
Just
know. I mean, that's why when I was talking about a project which I did earlier, which was again about this digital thing. It's in 2010. Was called "I'm There, I Mean I'm Here," and I think at some point, or maybe it's just because I am one of those people like who kind of who grew up with the computers. So, or whatever. Or maybe like, at least in my adult life, I had the computer and the social media, which was defining me. Like, I must have been on Facebook for 8 years now, or 5, 7 years. So I don't, so I think I talk like that. I talk like how I talk on the social media.
right. So you are in that sense native. You think you are native at least. So I mean that's very
I'm
different from how I am related. But I think yeah, that's like a that might be just like a whole entirely different conversation. So we can pick it up next week.
okay.
And yeah, bye for now. And have a good time. It's official in the next 3 weeks or 2 weeks. I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Bye. Good
Thanks,
night.
class. Bye bye.